How's it going? Alright guys, this is for the mini technology demonstration. The type of technology I'm using is my PlayStation 5 Pro. The reason I'm not taking it to class is because I'm not about to take an $800 machine to class and we don't have a monitor to play it, or I don't know how to set all that up, or I don't want to like break it or anything because I don't have like a carrying case for anything like that. So I'm going to upload this video to YouTube. I'm recording it live, so that's why there's no cuts or anything. And you may be wondering, some people might be against this because it's a video game, and why are you using a fictional game to teach people about ancient Greece? This is basically for a 10th grade world history lesson over ancient Greece. That's what I would use it for. There's other ways you could use it, because this section I'm going to use it for is in other games too. But there's this part called Discovery Tour, and essentially that's the educational portion of the game. The actual game is based on historical events, but there's some like creativity things to it. You know what I mean? It's based on historical events and historical stuff, but there's some like creativity around some of the things that go on, if that makes sense. Well, we're focusing on Discovery Tour. It's a really cool tool. I think it's better than, or it's something different than like just putting kids through a PowerPoint or a YouTube video, things like that. There's a little intro section that tells the people what you're about to get into, things like that. So it'll go over what you're about to get into here in a second. There's also on this is a loading screen. On the loading screen, there's a little fun. He was banned in Sparta in the 5th century BC to discharge the accumulation of wealth. Spartans bartered with goods and ingots instead. Little fun facts you can like read while you're loading to get into the actual Discovery Tour. There's different tours and things like that. Each has their own like sort of time frame to complete, and there's like rewards you can do and things like that to get into things. I'm gonna try to choose like the smallest one. I know we don't have that much time, but there's some that range from like 25 minutes to like 10 minutes. I'm gonna try to choose a 10-minute one that we so y'all can get a feel for it, and y'all can see what this is about. I think it's a really cool tool. This is actually my first time getting into it. I've actually never seen it. I just remembered it when this project was up. I was like, I know there's like an educational portion in some of these Assassin's Creeds that's like separate from the actual game, that actually goes into like the actual history and things like that. And then I was like, oh yeah, Discovery Tour, and yeah, that's what we're incorporating into this project. You know what I mean? So yeah, we're just gonna get through this loading screen, and we'll pick a tour. I'll show you some of the tours that way you can get a synopsis, and then we'll get into it. Here's an area.
Here, visitor. You are about to embark on a journey of discovery through the rich and fascinating history of classical Greece. You'll become fully immersed in the painstakingly detailed world built for Assassin's Creed Odyssey, which you are free to explore at your own pace, without any danger or time pressure. For a directed experience, take one of the many guided tours curated by prominent historians and archaeologists. Along the way, exchange words with some of Greece's most famous historical persons. The classical Greece you are about to explore is at the peak of its glory. This period is synonymous with grand accomplishments of the physical and the mental. Architectural marvels which still stand today dot its landscape, while towering achievements in philosophy, political systems, and art still influence our modern society in profound ways. We hope you become engrossed in the dazzling riches of ancient Greece and welcome you to your visit.
Alrighty, let's get into it. So basically, like I said before, there's all these different tours. This one says suggested. It's an urban household. There's station A student. It's like exploring an Athenian home, a typical Athenian home. It takes about 16 minutes to get into. You go through a Greek house. It shows like the pastas, work at home, and you play all these different audios and things like that. Basically, just essentially everything you can go through. Um, there's art, religion, and myths. Gods and Love. You got three stations that are 10 minutes each. You got School of Greece, the theater, Knossos, 8 stations, 15 minutes. Music. The Olympic Games has its own thing. If you're into like battles and wars, This one's 12 minutes, and it's the battles of Pylos and Sphacteria. And you can experience two back-to-back battles that greatly impacted the Peloponnesian War. Battle of Amphipolis, Thermopylae, of course, which is the Spartans in the famous Battle of Thermopylae, which is against the Persians, the one that inspired the 300 movie. Battle of Marathon, another battle against the Persians that's 18 minutes long. Spartan Education, that's basically about how Spartan youth came from boy to soldier and things like that. All these different things, daily life tours, pottery in Athens, dyeing fashion, Bronze Orgos, life of Greek women. If you're interested in stuff like that, you can learn about Greek women, which basically covers trade and economy. It shows you everything that you need to learn up there, education, archaeology, everything. Like, it's just, I think it's really cool. You have like the different cities. You can do the Acropolis of Athens. That's a 25-minute tour. Mycenae. I forgot. The Ruins of Mycenae, Place of Ruins. 20 minutes. Olympia, 21 minutes. Agora of Athens. Oracle of Delphi, 14 minutes. Piraeus. Yeah, just a lot of stuff you can go into. We'll go into art, religion, and myths. And this is a 10-minute one. We'll go into mythology and religion, and we'll relationship between the gods and romance, or like, you know, go there yourself. But we're not gonna go there ourselves because that takes a little bit more time. Another loading screen with little fun facts. But yeah, basically, if you have like your teaks that you're gonna talk about, or whatever lesson, if you're gonna talk about ancient Greece, whatever you want to talk about, basically pick that tour that align with the teaks that you're talking about, and you just go like that. And if you have a 90-minute class on a block schedule, these are pretty easy to get through, and then you still have plenty of time to get through a lesson. You know what I mean? Or like an assignment along with this, you know what I mean? Like 20 minutes of instruction, the rest of the time to do their work, things like that, at least in my opinion. Same with like if you have 60-minute class periods. 45 minutes, you're kind of pushing it. You probably have to go with a shorter one, or just not use this sort of situation, or this sort of tool, in my opinion. But yeah, where are we at on time? 7 minutes and 30 seconds. This is gonna be a 17-minute thing, so I apologize. But yeah, start tour, and we'll talk about it with this guy Marcos.
Hello, my friend. It is my pleasure to introduce you to Corinth's Temple of Aphrodite. In Greece, many love stories were told about the gods. How romantic. Sometimes they were heartwarming and happy, but they often ended in tears, tragedy, and a whole brood of illegitimate children. I'm looking at you, Zeus!
Crazy.
Anyway, this tour will introduce you to some of these divine love stories, which may give you perspective on how the Greeks approached love in their own lives. Enjoy your visit, my friend. I'll come see you again when you finish the tour.
So you basically follow this little guide like thing right here. Loading screens are going to be the death.
Much like Athens, Corinth had its own acropolis, called the Acrocorinth. The natural promontory provided an excellent view of the surrounding territory. It was also the home of several sanctuaries, allegedly constructed in the 6th century BCE. The Acrocorinth's most famous attraction was the Temple of Aphrodite. Pausanias describes it as having statues of Aphrodite, her son Eros, and the sun god Helios. According to Strabo, the temple's most distinguishing feature was its servants, who acted as sacred prostitutes. However, Strabo is the only source for this information, and it is still hotly debated to this day.
And if you wanted to learn more, it gives you, it's just like the thing where it gives you like descriptions, the piece, things like that. And you can like go into it with your class and things like that, or whatever you have planned that day.
Love played a large role in countless mythological stories. Zeus himself was not immune to the feeling, and fell for both mortals and other deities. Some myths centered on forbidden feelings that led to tragedy, such as Phaedra's love for her stepson Hippolytus. While marriage was prominent in mythology, it was usually presented as problematic. For example, Aphrodite frequently cheated on her husband Hephaestus, and Medea's resentment against her ex-husband Jason eventually drove her mad enough to murder her children. These less-than-ideal depictions reflected the Greeks' idea of marriage, which they viewed as a civic duty instead of a romantic union.
And you continue to run the path.
The goddess Aphrodite was one of the mightiest Olympians, and was typically associated with love, beauty, and sex. She was worshipped all across the ancient Mediterranean by men and women, both young and old. Her origins differ depending on the version of the story. The poet Hesiod says that she was born from the severed genitals of Uranus, while Homer's version of the myth names her as the daughter of Zeus and Dione. Aphrodite appeared regularly in mythological stories and had many mortal lovers. Her favorite was Adonis, a beautiful boy who died tragically in a hunting accident. Aphrodite was devastated by his death, so she created a cult called the Adonia to commemorate him.
And then after you get done with the tour, you return to the tour guide.
My friend, good to see you again. I bet you were surprised by some of the stories you heard. For a bunch of immortal beings, the gods certainly were saucy, eh? Tell me if there's anything else I can do for you.
Okay, and so now the other cool thing about this is that you heard in the other one, you get these little quizzes, and you can also use these on your students too. I mean, I'm gonna take them, and I'm probably gonna stop this video for y'all, and that'll be the interactive portion with the class on these questions. I'll pause the video so y'all can answer it too if y'all are paying attention before I answer it here. We'll see if we got it right. And it'll say, like I said, at the end of each tour, you have the option to take a short, lighthearted quiz, right or wrong. Your host will tell you more about each answer you give. Tours for which you have completed the quiz will have a quiz complete state. So it's another little fun activity you can do with your students, and we're gonna do it with y'all. The class. All right, let's go to the quiz.
Is that so, my friend? Then let's get started. Which poet said that Aphrodite was the daughter of Zeus and Dione?
Alright, so we got Homer, Hesiod, Phidias, Marcos, which is the tour guide. And then if you want him to repeat the question, I'm gonna say Homer.
Yes, it was Homer who said Aphrodite was a child of Zeus. On to the next question. Medea was married to which legendary hero?
You got Hercules, Pelops, Odysseus, or Jason. Or we can repeat the question. We'll repeat the question again, just in case.
Medea was married to which legendary hero?
I'm gonna say Jason.
Yes, Medea was married to Iason. But after he left her for someone else, she resented him so much, she murdered their children.
Crazy.
But let's not talk about such depressing things. Instead, you can answer this last question. What was the name of Corinth's Acropolis?
Corinth's Acropolis, was it Acropolinth, Acrocorinth, Corinthopolis, or the Great Rock of Corinth? I think it was Acrocorinth.
Correct! The Acrocorinth has been home to many sanctuaries, as well as the famous Temple of Aphrodite. You passed the test! Congratulations, my intelligent friend!
And then you basically like...
Normally, I don't let people go until they buy a souvenir. But for you, my friend, I'll make an exception.
But yeah, you basically take the tour. There's a little short quiz at the end of each one. I think it's really cool. You can do these things on your own. I mean, if you play the game, you can do these things on your own and learn more yourself. But if you're doing it with students, you just pick whatever tour they want to do for that day, or like whatever lesson you have planned for the day. You'd be like, we're going to take this tour. You go through it, have like the little narrator talk through it, things like that. And yeah, I think it's a really cool tool. Um, I think it's awesome that this has it. You get little rewards at the end of it, things like that. Like I just unlocked Praxla. She's like just different little things, you know what I mean? You can unlock, and I think it's really cool. Um, but yeah, hopefully y'all enjoyed that little demonstration of how this can be used. Um, and yeah, hopefully y'all enjoyed. Like I said, I apologize I didn't bring the PlayStation. I'm not gonna bring an $800 machine to school. But not without the proper carrying equipment. But yeah, thank y'all, and on to the rest of the presentation, if there is any. I think we'll see. I'm recording this and I'm still not done with the presentation part, like portion of the PowerPoint. This is just for the demonstration portion. There's still probably more, but you know, I'm gonna stop talking and blabbering.